Ooh. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Hi.
So my good friend Rex said he was doing a song that he wrote tonight, and he wanted me to come down and sign language interpret the song. So I thought before we did that, a little background, a little history on sign language and my story of how I got my sign name. And my sign name is Troy, like this, with a T. Well, back in high school, there was a really cute deaf girl, and I didn't know she was deaf. I just wanted to meet her, and then at lunch, I saw her across the way, and she was signing, and I thought, oh. So I looked up, my name, Troy, and she was sitting in the library one day. So I just approached her, and I kind of flagged her down. She looked up from her book, and I said, my name, Troy. And she looked at me, went like this, and went right back to her book. And I thought, okay, I don't know what this means. So I went that night and studied the sign language dictionary for like an hour before I found, because you can't just read a book. Well, it turns out this means silly. So I was okay, she called me silly. It wasn't a complete shutdown. So over the course of that hour of learning what silly meant, I learned a bunch of other words. And my sign language started to grow. I was the mascot for my high school, which is basically a male cheerleader, but it was a big Viking, and nobody was supposed to know who you were, you couldn't talk, but I'd just get out there and mess with people and be the Viking. And she walked by, and I looked at her, and I went like, big foam head, she had no idea who I was, and I looked at her and went like that, and she knew immediately who I was. Well, we started dating, and my sign progressed, and I really improved my sign language, and our little group had sign names, and it's like your Indian name, only a deaf person can give you your sign name. And so I started noticing that all these friends had sign language names, and I was like, well, what's my sign name? She says, well, your name, it starts with a T, so it's Troy. Oh man, I was just so proud. And I was probably 16, 17 years old. My first job was working in a deli, and I was a sandwich maker. And these deaf people came in to order their sandwich, and I was like, I'll take their order, I know sign language. And I got up there, and they just pointed at the menu. So I wrote it down, and then I'm like, well, I'll be the cashier, and I'll ring them up. And they got up there, and the charge came up, and the number was right there, so they just paid me that. And I didn't really get a chance to interact with them, and I was just so proud that I had a sign name, and they were done eating, and I wasn't trying to eavesdrop and just stare at them the whole time, but I noticed they were done, so I was like, well, I'll be their busboy. So I go over, and I went, all done? And they were like, yeah, we're all done. Do you sign? And I was like, yes, I sign a little bit. My name is Troy, and my sign name is Troy. And they just started laughing. And I was like, what is so funny? He said, your sign name is toilet. So from that point on, I looked up everything she told me and cross-referenced it so I wouldn't fall into that same aspect again. Now, this is the rated R version, so I will tell you a few more seconds here, but continue that on. My sign was pretty improved, like I was doing pretty good, and I would go to these sign language socials, and I told somebody, I asked them, I said, did you work today? And she looked at me, and she's like, work is like this. This, well, if you put the legs out, you kind of know what it is. And she goes, I didn't today, but I did work. That's just a quick story. I'm going to try and sign language interpret this next song for Rex. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me.